Allie Evans has a deep love for painting, so much so that her younger sister Lisa often praises her talent. Years ago, after both of their parents passed away, Allie was left living with just her brother and sister. Life was far from easy back then. Money was tight, bills piled up, and every day felt like a struggle. Still, as the eldest, Allie never complained. She kept encouraging her siblings, reminding them that the Evans family was strong and would get through anything together. Her kindness did not stop at home either, as she was also known by her neighbors as a warm and friendly person. Allie and Lisa work as housekeepers at a hotel. On this particular day, they are assigned to clean the VIP floor. Before they begin, the hotel manager reminds them to never speak to guests unless spoken to first. At the same hotel, a royal valet named Fergus is accompanying King Max from the Kingdom of Windsor. Max is preparing to return to his palace, and before checking out, he asks Fergus to leave a generous tip for housekeeping, since his room is a complete mess. As Max steps out, he accidentally bumps into Allie, leaving her panicked after breaking the hotel rule. Forced to apologize, Allie briefly speaks to Max, a moment that is quietly witnessed by the hotel manager. While cleaning another room, Lisa suddenly receives an announcement about an audition happening in just 1 hour. Allie immediately tells her to go, promising to finish their work alone. After completing that room, Allie enters King Max's messy suite and discovers a watch that was left behind. At the same time, the hotel manager shows up to scold Allie for working slowly after Lisa left. Down in the lobby, King Max realizes the watch, a gift from his late father, is missing. When Fergus heads back upstairs to retrieve it, he overhears the hotel manager firing Allie and her sister over the earlier incident. This moment changes everything. This is crowned for Christmas. That evening, Fergus unexpectedly visits Allie's home to deliver a $5,000 check as a reward for returning the king's watch. Allie refuses the money, feeling it is far too much for what she did. Having just finished cooking, Allie invites Fergus to stay for dinner. During the meal, her brother and sister share how Allie has taken care of them ever since their parents passed away, practically raising them on her own. After learning that Allie lost her job, Fergus offers her a new one as a temporary caregiver for Max's daughter in Europe. He does not reveal that Max is a king and explains that the job will only last 2 weeks. Before she knows it, Allie arrives in the Kingdom of Windsor, where she is shocked to discover that she will be caring for a princess. At the palace, Allie is introduced to Helen, the head chef, and Wick, the head of household, who immediately comes across as cold and unwelcoming. As Wick escorts Allie to her room, she explains the palace rules and the strict schedule leading up to Christmas. Allie is also warned about Princess Theodora, a mischievous child whose behavior has driven many caregivers to quit. As King Max returns to the palace, Allie is stunned when she recognizes him as the same man she accidentally bumped into while working at the hotel. Her surprise grows when a child suddenly throws a snowball at her, without Allie realizing that the mischievous kid is Princess Theodora. Max also recognizes Allie and questions Fergus about why a former hotel housekeeper has been hired to care for his daughter. Fergus urges him to trust Allie, explaining that she is kind-hearted and dependable. Back in her room, as Allie unpacks her belongings, she hears a knock at the door from Princess Theodora. True to her reputation, the princess immediately shows her dislike for yet another new caregiver. Trying to make a good first impression, Allie goes along with Theodora's request to kick an ornament into the room, only for it to accidentally strike Max during a meeting with his advisor, Riggs. After the incident, Max admits that Theodora's misbehavior is partly his fault, caused by his lack of time to play or talk with her. Riggs strongly disagrees, insisting that a king's duty is to focus on governing his country. Between the two opposing views, Allie sides with Max, believing that a young child still needs love and attention from a parent. Her opinion angers Riggs, who demands her dismissal, but Max refuses, sensing Allie's genuine compassion. Before settling in for the night, Allie calls her brother and sister to share the news that she is now working for King Max of Windsor. Shortly after, Wick and a palace servant bring her dinner, since caregivers usually eat alone. Feeling lonely, Allie decides to step outside and wanders into the royal stables. There, she unexpectedly crosses paths with Max, who often goes horseback riding at night to clear his mind from the pressures of ruling. The next morning, Fergus prepares to go over Allie's list of duties, but Princess Theodora eagerly snatches it away before he can finish. Soon after, Helen arrives with breakfast and shares that she has served at the palace since Max was a child. She also reveals that Theodora's mother passed away 4 years earlier after a long illness. Hearing this, Allie begins her first official day as a caregiver by allowing Princess Theodora to choose any activity she wants. Suspicious of Allie's kindness, Theodora wonders if she is only being treated well because Allie hopes to marry her father. Allie makes it clear that her intentions are simple, explaining that she needs the job to support her family. As they prepare to return to the palace, Fergus informs Allie that Princess Theodora has a scheduled photo session with her father that day. Allie quickly helps the princess change clothes and escorts her to the shoot, where King Max is already waiting. The next day, Princess Theodora asks Fergus for permission to decorate the Christmas tree with Allie. Together, they create handmade ornaments that quietly remind both Allie and Theodora of their late mothers. At the same time, elsewhere in the palace, Max and Riggs are deep in discussion about the kingdom's political ties with a neighboring country. Riggs pushes Max to marry a noblewoman named Lady Celia, believing the match would strengthen their alliances. Even though Max and Celia once had a past, Max firmly rejects the arrangement, explaining that he never truly loved her. His refusal only frustrates Riggs further, making him feel that Max is ignoring his advice. As Max leaves his office, he notices Allie and his daughter happily decorating the Christmas tree together. In a playful moment, Theodora grabs the royal crown to place it on top of the tree, only to be stopped by Wick. Through the day's activities, Allie begins to understand that Theodora is a lonely child who longs for affection from her father. Later, Allie joins the palace staff for dinner in the kitchen, though Wick clearly disapproves of her presence. On her way back to her room, Allie is surprised to see Max quietly placing the royal crown on top of the tree, honoring his daughter's wish. After that, Max invites Allie to go horseback riding beyond the palace grounds, opening up about his late father and the suffocating weight of royal life. From his own childhood experiences, Max admits his fear of becoming like his father, a man too consumed by duty to be emotionally present. As Max and Allie head out together, their growing closeness does not go unnoticed by Helen and Riggs. Later that night, when they return to the palace, a shared spark emerges between them, nearly leading to a kiss. The moment leaves Allie feeling awkward, reminding her that she is only a caregiver working for the king. Unbeknownst to them, Princess Theodora, who had been pretending to sleep the night before, also witnesses the bond forming between Allie and her father, filling her with quiet happiness. Not long after, Helen invites Allie and Theodora to decorate cookies while singing, their cheerful voices carrying all the way to Max's study.
Not only green when reoccurring me.
At the same time, Fergus notices the arrival of Lady Celia at the palace, an invitation arranged by Riggs. Max is clearly displeased, and Theodora immediately views Lady Celia as a frightening woman who wants to marry her father. During dinner, Riggs and Celia openly discuss wedding plans, irritating both Max and Theodora. Theodora eventually lashes out and runs out of the palace, deliberately creating a moment for Allie and her father to be alone together in the greenhouse.
Teddy! Teddy!
Realizing their feelings for each other, Max explains that his engagement to Lady Celia was arranged long ago. He also makes it clear that he does not love her, yet Allie finds herself already hurt by her own emotions. The following day, Lady Celia suddenly appears at Allie's room to address the closeness she has heard about between Allie and King Max, information that came from Riggs. She firmly warns Allie not to pursue the king, and asks her to speak kindly to Princess Theodora about her presence in the palace. Later, as Allie goes about her duties, Princess Theodora invites her to build a snowman and play in the palace courtyard. At the same time, King Max asks Fergus to look for his daughter, but when he finds them, Theodora eagerly pulls him into the game. The fun quickly spreads, prompting Fergus to call Helen and other palace staff to join in as well. Before long, King Max himself steps outside and joins the playful moment, bringing visible joy to Theodora. Afterward, Allie teaches Theodora how to make gingerbread using her mother's old recipe, a tradition that reminds Allie of Christmas back home in America with her family. Once the cookies are finished, Theodora proudly brings them to King Max and Lady Celia, who both praise the recipe. While everyone is gathered, Riggs reveals the plan for King Max and Lady Celia to send Princess Theodora to a boarding school. The news deeply upsets Theodora, making her feel as though she is about to lose her father's love, just as she lost her mother. The next morning, Riggs presents King Max with his mother's wedding ring. intended for a proposal to Lady Celia that evening, during the Christmas celebration. Despite this, Max remains conflicted and unwilling to marry a woman chosen for him, especially one he does not love. Elsewhere, Allie tries to gently encourage Theodora to accept Lady Celia, who is soon to marry the king. However, Theodora openly wishes for Allie to become her mother instead, believing that Allie is the one who truly shows her warmth and care. Not long after, King Max comes to Theodora's room to escort her and is left speechless by how closely her appearance resembles that of his late wife. Theodora then asks permission to invite Allie to the Christmas party, and to her delight, Max agrees. Learning that Allie does not own a formal gown, Helen offers to lend her one from her younger days, a dress sewn by her own mother, and worn only once at a long-ago dance with a soldier who eventually married someone else. The story then moves to the grand Christmas party, where King Max and Princess Theodora make their entrance and open the evening by dancing together. A short while later, Allie arrives, instantly drawing everyone's attention, including the king's. Noticing Max's obvious admiration for Allie, Lady Celia quickly steps in and invites him to dance, something that clearly displeases Theodora. Once the dance ends, Max, unable to hide his feelings, still finds a moment to dance with Allie. Unable to bear watching their closeness, Celia asks Max to show the engagement ring Riggs had given him. When the ring is discovered missing from its box, Celia immediately suspects Allie, believing she stole it to sabotage the wedding plans. Without hesitation, an angry Lady Celia confronts Allie and accuses her of stealing King Max's engagement ring. Allie tries to defend herself, but with no power or standing in the palace, she ultimately decides to leave. When Allie follows Princess Theodora back to her room, the truth finally comes out. Theodora admits that she took the ring herself, hoping to stop her father from marrying Celia. Allie returns the ring to King Max, yet still chooses to walk away, realizing that her presence has already sparked jealousy and conflict. As she packs her belongings, Allie takes a moment to thank Fergus and Helen for their kindness and friendship during her time at the palace. Before leaving, she also leaves behind Christmas gifts for the palace staff, including Wick, who never truly warmed up to her from the start. Back at the celebration, Riggs urges King Max to publicly announce his engagement to Lady Celia. Instead, Max shocks the guests by declaring that the wedding is off, admitting that he does not love her. Furious and humiliated, Lady Celia storms out of the party. Realizing that Max's heart belongs to Allie, Riggs grows angry as well, but the king makes it clear that he will not hesitate to dismiss him if he cannot accept the decision. Before returning to America, Allie spends the night at a nearby inn while waiting for her flight the next morning. That same night, King Max unexpectedly arrives to confess his love for her. With their feelings finally clear, Max asks Allie to return to the palace with him. The reunion brings joy to Princess Theodora, Fergus, and Helen. In the end, King Max chooses Allie as his queen, closing the story with a warm and joyful happy ending. So, the moral of the story is never fire a kind housekeeper. She might turn out to be your future queen, your kid's favorite person, and the reason Christmas gets saved,